I started learning web programming about a week ago, and I'm going to tell you what I learned. To be honest, it's not my first time programming something. In school, I learned to program using Python for my course of study. I learned normal programming stuff like for loops, while loops, tuples, lists, etc. About a year after learning that, I don't know why, but I started gaining interest in programming, and web programming keeps coming out on YouTube, so I decided to learn the other programming language like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But technically, HTML and CSS is technically not a programming language. I wanted to create programs on web pages. I wanted to challenge myself, and I wanted to collect skills like they were infinity stones. So I started learning, but from who? I decided to choose every beginner programmer's bro code. How I wanted to learn programming is
to create projects and stop doing tutorials.
But I wanted to learn the basics first before doing the project, such as the functions and the syntaxes, as they were quite different from the Python that I'm used to. I watched the long video course from Brocode and followed along. My literal aim the whole time was to learn the basics as quickly as possible and get out of what programmers call it the tutorial hell. Then start on my first project, where shit goes downhill. My first project was a calculator, and to be honest, I did not know how to start. I also didn't want to immediately refer to the course whenever I needed help. I had forgotten what I learned in the course. I was staring at the blank editor with the blinking cursor blinking and blinking and blinking. It was a very uncomfortable feeling. It's like an internal itching feeling inside your body. But in the end, I still referred to the course. I was able to do the HTML and the CSS stuff, so I started with those. After doing those, I literally have zero clue how to make the calculator work. I tried and tried. The feeling came back to haunt me again. I tried using what I learned in Python, appending sheet to shape, but it doesn't work. It was, to be honest, very frustrating. And then, guess what happened? I ended up following Brocode's tutorial again. And let me tell you, it was like one part of my brain got unlocked. It was so much easier than I thought. This project taught me one skill: defining what activates the function in HTML first, so that programming it in JavaScript is easier. My next project was a to-do list. I know, I did all the common basic stuff. I mean, get the basics right? This project was hard to do. At first, I thought to append an empty list to the division element or something, then append the tasks to the list. But nope, this is not Python, my guy. And that feeling started to creep up my ass again. To be fair, this situation was different. I had zero clue how to do them. From the course I watched, I didn't learn them, because to be fair, I skipped most parts. And guess what happened? I referred again, but to another video from another programmer called Tyler Potts. He created a div element, a class for the div, an ID for the div, a type for the div, and an attribute for the div. Then put that div in the area he wanted it, so that he can add the tasks to the div. What the hell? This again blew my mind. This project taught me the add event listener, create element, task list.add, type, set attribute, and append child functions. But I can see how having the tasks laid out in the list in HTML first before commenting them and building its JavaScript can help, as you can just follow how it's structured in HTML. Although yes, project-based learning is important, but I still needed to learn the basics first before starting my first project. But the aim was to learn them as quickly as possible. And when I got the hang of what is going on, then I started a project. And when I started a project, I faced many problems, difficulties, and was also clueless on how to solve a certain problems. And when that happens, I just googled or watch videos online. Basically, learn the basics, then do the project, and when you get stuck, learn, then go back to the project, and you get stuck again, learn, and repeat and repeat. I know in the self-improvement space, there are people who recommend reading. Reading non-fiction books like Feel Good Productivity, $100 Million Offers, or How to Win Friends and Influence People. I myself too, in fact, enjoy reading. But reading, especially the non-fiction books, is useless unless you apply what you learned. In programming, I learned all the functions and syntax on YouTube. I felt confident, and once I faced the blank code editor, everything in my head went blank. I did not know how to start and ended up looking at tutorials anyways. In the end, did I learn anything on YouTube? No. I still had to refer again and again. Furthermore, wasted time. Same as reading non-fiction books. You learn things like smiling at people when you see them, or be a good listener. But when you don't smile when you see people, and you interrupt people when they are talking, Did you learn anything? Nah, you wasted time and money reading the book. Congrats. Anyways, these are what I learned from programming. Just my opinion. Bye.